Shapiro riding with the Rabbi.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Riding with the Rabbi. New studio, this is the newest season. Our last two episodes were filmed in Israel. This is a new studio, and I mean it's just a new lease. I actually had to downsize to like a 2-row car. I don't need 3 rows anymore. But anyway, I'm sure everybody who's ever davened on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippurim will recognize our guest. Let me put it this way. We're very, very spoiled. Very, very spoiled that we have, in my opinion, I know you're not going to like this, what I'm going to say, but the greatest shofar blower I've ever heard in my life. And I have a little bit of life that I've lived. And we're just going to have a chat today with the one and only, indefatigable Oliver Shapiro. Oliver, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so this is our season. So we want to, people want to get to know the man behind the shofar, the story behind the shofar. So how long have you been blowing shofar at Eitz Chaim?
That's a good question. It predates your tenure by something like 7 years, I think. In the early days, there were actually a few of us blowing shofar at different stages in the service, and then it kind of evolved into just myself. So how long?
Well, because we the weed from the chaff. I mean, we did that.
So it's some number of decades.
Okay, well, you know how many years I'm here now?
How many years have you been
You
here?
want to take a guess?
12.
Oh, no, that's good. Okay, so we're starting the 11th right now.
Okay.
11th year.
Okay.
So, and you obviously have a musical background, musical world that you live in, but how did you first discover that you can blow shofar, or did someone encourage you to do it, or did you learn? Like, tell me how that got started.
So I will say that Justin Bergman always accuses me of cheating. Why do I say that? The first instrument that I ever studied as a young child was the trumpet, and the technique is nearly identical. I did have to stop playing the trumpet after a couple of years due to medical situations, but whatever I picked up during those formative years obviously stuck with me. And during the course of my Jewish evolution, if you will, as Rosh Hashanah would come near, I would naturally have a curiosity to, is this something that I could do? Because I used to play the trumpet.
Wow.
And it was a bit of a self-discovery. And then my talent manager, who also goes by the name of Debbie, my better half, insisted to Rabbi Krupka, you should really hear Oliver blow. And it sort of took off from there.
So that first time you did it, I mean, I know you have a whole regimen about practicing, getting to do 100 kolos at a time, and how was it that first time? Were you nervous?
I was extremely nervous. I was nervous to the point where I was shaking. You could hear it in the sound, the quavering. It was nervous. It was a combination of just performance anxiety, which most performing musicians experience to some degree or another, but the awesomeness of standing before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, representing all these people around you, it's really quite a staggering responsibility. If that doesn't make you nervous, then you have nerves of steel.
Right. So I imagine that. So now the skill part of it, you kind of have unlocked. I mean, maybe it's automatic, but that aspect of representing the Kehillah, being in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you're the emissary, you're everyone's emissary through the holiness of the sounds of your shofar blowing is what gets us to the next level. So I can imagine that's something that doesn't change.
That part of it does stay, and it's interesting, just my own internal mental landscape in those moments is a balance between keeping that responsibility in mind, but at the same time concentrating on the physical task at hand, and trying to make sure that both are adequately covered inside my mind, and neither one is overwhelming the other. I find it a very difficult balance.
Right. I mean, I have a unique vantage point because I'm the one that's calling out the notes, and I can read your body language, and I think we have sort of a rhythm that when we work together. Although once, if you remember, we were actually discussing it over Shabbos, and once it was disrupted, It was one of the funniest events ever in the shul. I don't know if you remember this one.
No, you have to remind me.
Moshe was about 3 years old, probably.
Okay.
And he was sitting next to me, and he just yelled out, Tokea! I don't remember that. See, you're so in the zone, you don't even, you didn't realize it.
If that happens, I was oblivious.
Yeah, no, but because you're in the zone, you get it. And so what's going through your head because I can tell you, when I'm calling it out, I have my finger glued to the. I'm so worried I'm going to call out the wrong note. So what's going through your head? What's when you're in that zone, when we're doing the tequillas, what's going through your mind at that moment?
That's tough to describe. So I've already alluded to some of the things in the overall gestalt, if you will, for that particular one. I'm considering the whole embouchure aspect of it. The lips, the tongue, all that good stuff.
There's a lot of great words that I don't know.
Embouchure is simply the confirmation of your mouth, basically, of your face.
Oh, I thought that was a type of Hasidim. Okay.
That's from a part of Europe that we don't talk about. So there's staying focused on all that, and trying to remember which one it is you just said, because it does sometimes happen, and you may recall this once or twice, that my mind may start to drift ahead a little bit to a different sound, and even if you'll say one sound, I'm actually hearing a different one because my mind has gone somewhere else.
Right.
So
it's hard. It's hard, and I also, one thing that I always think of is that years ago I asked you if it was disturbing to you that we gather all the kids around for all the tequillas, and I asked you if it disturbed you. You said, what, it actually calms me.
Yeah, I do. It's true. I find there's something comforting about it. I can't tell you why, but it does.
And you have now a generation of kids that grew up saying, well, I saw Oliver blow, and you pretty much ruined everybody if they ever go to another shul, because I mean, I'm just being honest, and I've heard that a lot from people who have gone to other places, like, oh yeah, no Oliver.
Well, I thank you for your kind words.
Flattery will get you everywhere. Tell us a little bit about your two things I want to ask you about still. Your practice routine. When do you start practicing? How do you practice? You can't just get up and do 100. You have to work up to it, right?
So I will tell you that before we moved to where we are now in Caldwell, I actually kind of did that. I would do the daily soundings during Elul, and then 2 days before Rosh Hashanah, I would sort of wake up and like, Oliver, get real, and so I would do sort of some cramming. Okay, I decided that's too dangerous an approach. So these days I take a good couple of weeks before Rosh Hashanah, and I make sure to go through the entire series each day, and I pay extra attention to any of those aspects that I don't feel totally rock solid on. This year, I'm not real pleased with all of my truths. I feel like the consistency is not there, so I'm spending a little extra time on those. And to be honest, a lot of that is just for the psychological preparation.
And does it change this year at all, given that the first day is Shabbos and it's only going to be one set of 100 versus 2?
No.
Okay, I like that. And tell us about your shofar itself. First of all, we know you have 2 of them. Have you used the same ones for all these years?
Yes. The one that I used for the final set during during Kaddish was actually brought home by one of my sons after their in-school shofar laboratory, whatever they call it. So I was like, oh, cool. Let me see what it sounds like. And that one sounded amazing, just amazing. Like, wow.
That's the small one.
That's the larger one. The one that I use for the final series. So terrific. So I started using that in shul, and Rabbi Krupka said, would it be possible to maybe mix it up, because using a ram's horn is sort of more mehudar for the mitzvah.
Right.
I was like, okay, sure. I said, I actually don't have one right now. I used to have one, but it actually cracked, which is very unusual. So he showed up at my door one day with a shofar. I was like, oh, thank you. And I tried it out, and it sounded great. Did he vet it? I have no idea. but it sounds really good, and it's fairly easy to blow. It's terrific. So that is the story of those two shofarot.
Do you name them? Do they have names?
A and B.
Do you have them with you?
I do.
Can I see them? Can we see them?
Certainly.
What are the chances he had it with him?
Go figure.
Man is always prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, I guess you can see it on that's which one?
So this is the ram's horn, courtesy of Rabbi Krupka.
And you use this for which?
I use this for the initial set and also during Musaf.
Okay, so the first 60.
Right.
And then let's see the other one.
Certainly. This is the goat's horn, which anybody who's ever been to a New Jersey yeshiva has probably seen before.
So what's the difference between the two? I guess mechanically, or
Okay.
this has this seems to have a larger mouth opening. Is that?
It does. I'm guessing that is simply the technique used by whomever turned it into a shofar.
Now this one, you've been blowing it during the week in shul. This one in the last few days, I noticed that it almost sounds like if I was driving a boat and I needed to open a drawbridge and sound. That's how good it sounds, like that.
In fact, that was one of the things that attracted me to when my son brought it home. I tried it, and it's like, wow, this sounds almost like a French horn.
Oh, so that's what I'm gonna ask. Like, how would you compare it to what's? Not that I have any clue about anything. All I know is that a French horn has over a mile worth of silver or metal in it to make it. I learned that once when I was watching it. A mile long. If you would bang out a French horn like something like that. I watched a documentary on Symphony Fantastique.
Okay.
And that is obviously the French horn is very prominent in that, so
sure.
that they talked about that. But other than that, that, and it's stuff I say at parties to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but otherwise, no.
This has something less than a mile's worth of tubing. As to the mechanics of how it produces different sound, you would have to ask a physicist, I think.
Okay. No, but to you, like, how would you describe the difference in the sounds?
So this one is more, I would call this one more declamatory, more full, a fuller kind of a sound, more rounded, if you will.
This is like so educational because now I got declamatory. I'm gonna have to attach a thesaurus with this.
Keep in mind, these are all subjective impressions from me. So,
and you're the expert.
This one sounds like a ram's horn that most of us are familiar with. This one is much more. This one, I think, speaks, frankly, a little bit better to what we're trying to do on Rosh Hashanah and during the days of Tshuva. It's more poignant. It's more, I don't know. It has a more alarming kind of a sound, almost. Get with it, guys. So.
I love that.
So.
And
I feel like they both have their place, and I will say, from a purely technical perspective, I enjoy finishing with this one because it's easier to blow. Yes,
so that was going to come. So
admit it.
The pièce de résistance, if you would, and I know that in the Machzor, at the end of each set, it says Tokea Gedola, and when I first started, like, what? I'm like, no, we have to build it up, and it's a question in halacha whether or not you do 3 Tokea Gedolas or you do just one. I prefer just one.
Have you been to kihos that do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's exactly the whole point of a Tokea. If you have more than one Tokea Gedola, it's not a Tokea Gedola anymore.
Right.
So we build it. We have the one, and of course, you can't see it, but I can see it. Everybody's when you're blowing the Tokea Gedola, and then the conversation over lunch at everyone's table is how long, and then the stuff becomes of legend. It's like, it was 40 seconds. It was 3 minutes. It was 49-minute long Tokea Gedola. How long do you think your Tokea Gedola is?
I'd say it's typically somewhere between 27 and 32 secons. Somewhere in there.
I think it's a little longer. I usually get close to 40. Did you ever blow a Tokea Gedola in a car?
No, I didn't.
I think we should try one. We should try one.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. I know it's a hard thing to start with Tokea Gedola, right? Should we do a set first and then?
No, let's not.
We put it that way.
No, let's not.
Can you do it without being cold? We need to call it out if we have to do it the right way. Also, we're in a moving vehicle.
The mark of the makre.
And we're okay. I'm gonna have everybody at home is gonna time it. When they watch this, they're gonna time it. Okay, and we'll still get different opinions of how long it is. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to get you for this. I say that for the record. And here we go.
Wait, should I stop the car? Should we not drive when we do this?
It doesn't matter.
No, I don't know. I don't like you to. I'm gonna stop the car. I'm gonna pull over somewhere, not on the middle of Route 10, but I'm gonna pull over somewhere.
Let's open the windows and scare the neighbors.
That would be really interesting. Actually, we could do. It's probably better if the window's open, right?
I don't know. I have never tried blowing a shofar in a car before.
So I'm gonna pull over.
Okay.
And then maybe we'll open the window a little bit, and then we'll see what happens. Okay.
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 I remember my promise to you.
Okay. Yeah, if you show everybody the face that you give me when you're ready, always that's the.
I'm sorry?
You have to show everybody the face you give me when you're ready.
Okay. 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 Also, I'm not standing. It makes a big difference.
Right.
But okay.
No pressure.
Now, with all disclosures and
no pressure
and all that.
Tokea Gedola. That's just over 30 seconds. And I know it because I'm looking at the time on the, that is super impressive. Now, do you feel, is it a lot of exertion for you to do that?
Yeah, it's a significant amount, yeah.
Do you feel afterwards, aside from the sort of the spiritual, emotional part of it, but physically, do you feel like wiped out after blowing shofar?
After a reasonably good Tokea Gedola, I do feel it takes me, a minute or so to sort of come back to myself.
But it's the best cure after like all 100 kolos in a Tokea Gedola? Tequila Gedola. I think that would be. But in all seriousness, I want to thank you for giving us a glimpse into your art, and we feel completely elevated by your presence and your service, and it's an unbelievable thing that you do for our shul, for our community. And I know especially that the last one after Yom Kippur, it's really very special, followed by the Hatikva. I think it's really, really something, and Hashem should just grant you and your family good health and nachas and hatzlacha, mazel and bracha, and much, much success in everything that you do. Again, we are unbelievably fortunate to have you as part of our family, and I hope that we'll be blessed to have this relationship for many, many years to come. And may the pure, holy sounds of your shofar, because I know where they're coming from. I know the neshama and the heart that they're coming from. May they go straight to the Kisei HaKavod, straight to the holy throne, and may all our prayers be answered l'tova. So thank you so much for spending some time, and thank you for sharing. A lot of people don't realize this about the amount of work that goes into every aspect of Rosh Hashanah, but particularly when it comes to blowing shofar and the efforts that you put in. So it's very much appreciated, not lost on us. And again, all the best. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you.
Yeah, and if you have any more big words that you want to send our way, please do, because I have to take SATs soon.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Have a great time. We'll see you next time. Riding with the Rabbi.